Hey Capricorn, my name is Audrey Alison, and this is your January 2015 forecast. Happy New Year, happy holidays. Thanks for joining me. I am coming to you from New Jersey for the month, so I'm happy to be here, and thanks for subscribing and liking these posts and supporting this creative endeavor. Your second house of money is where it's at this month, so you need to listen up to this because I feel some tremendous support is occurring with major personal planets all meeting up in your second house of finance. It's starting off on the 3rd of January with Venus, who's entering Aquarius. Aquarius is your solar second house of finance. Please watch your rising sign forecast as well. It's actually extremely detailed for transits. However, this does apply to your sun as a solar scope. Venus in the second house. Venus is love and support. She really is influencing the second house, and this is a really great aspect for the next 24 days she's stationed here. You could receive a lot as far as income tax if you wanted to, for those of you getting your taxes done early, and for those of you who are interested in getting ahead of the game. She's meeting up, though, with Mercury. Mercury's actually following her, and they've been doing that for this whole last year. He's biting her rhyme and entering Aquarius the following day on the 4th in the second house again. So Venus is conjunct Mercury in the second house of finances. Interviews, paperwork, contracts, signatures, information needed to enhance fiscal earnings is coming through. And this is just the beginning because there is tremendous support happening mid-month in this second house as well. But when Mercury and Venus are conjunct, you are getting contacted tremendously and loving the connections that you're meeting. On the 4th as well, when Mercury enters your money sector, we have a full moon at 14 degrees, Cancer, your polar opposite sign. So it's the 7th house of marriage, soulmate, committed relationships, not lighthearted dating. Now, the full moon is romantic to look at, okay? Everyone mentions the full moon. However, the full moon brings endings, but it also brings awareness in the sector that it hits. There's something seen that may have been hidden with a full moon bringing illumination to this sector. It's shining a light in the 7th house. You can now see things very clearly. But with full moons, the moon waxes to full. So when it gets full, then it begins to wane again to new. So there's an ending when it reaches its fullest point, and then it shrinks up again, and we start the whole phase all over again. So perhaps Capricorns are taking a look at their committed relationships and discussing what they're seeing, this newness. You know, there's a lot of psychic ability on the full moon. So you could be discussing some ideas or concepts that you think might enhance the relationship, or you might end a relationship. It could be that simple. But for those of you who aren't in relationships, having a full moon in the 7th could be that you are internally realizing what it is you now really want. You know what doesn't work for you, and so that leaves you with what does, okay? So it's a process of elimination, which I like. You know, it's private feeling with the full moon in the 7th. It's not that you're out socializing looking for partnerships. Of course you could do that. You have free will. You could go to Jamaica tomorrow. But you're internally aware of what's going to draw in this relationship that you require or desire. Now on the 12th, Mars is making his transit into Pisces. This is good because this is your 3rd house of communications, okay? So when Mars, the planet of energy, goes into the communications sector, it's an excellent time for connection, for signature, signing contracts, and trust me, you want to get this done. If you've got contracts to sign, business negotiations, communications, information that needs to get handled and through work, or whether this is business or even something as simple as purchasing a car, which is third house. You want to get this handled before the 21st because Mercury will retrograde then in the third house. So even though Mars has an amazing energy as a catalyst in the third house, Mercury will retrograde in this third house. So, I'm sorry, in the second house. I apologize. I had to move this over just a little bit to see my full wheel. Okay, let me repeat this. Same applies. Mars is going into the third house. So you want to get contracts and things handled before he retrogrades in the second house of money, because then you don't want to sign things regarding finances with a retrograde in the money sector, which will happen at the end. But you have energy here. Mars is more than just energy. He's passion. So you're driven in the third house. You want to connect with people. You're meeting the right influences. You're meeting the right connections. The third house is really close local influence and also siblings and neighborhood. It's local. It's energy around you that's you're very connected with and could really be passionate about meeting the right people at this time, perhaps to enhance the second house of finance, because on January 20th, not only does the sun enter Aquarius, which governs the second house of money, but there's a new moon again at 0 degrees Aquarius in your second house. What? The new moon, the sun, Mercury, and Venus conjunct in the second house of finance. Now, I discussed this earlier in the last forecast, but we've been having these new moons at 0 degrees. They do not have to be at 0 degrees to be a new moon. They can be anywhere from 0 to 30 degrees. The fact that they are at 0 degrees is suggesting a very new pattern in these houses for us, because we are all ascending right now. We're trying to. Some of us aren't coming with us. But there's a new moon in your money sector. You know what, Kat? For New Year's resolutions, your best bet is to focus on your money. And I know that sounds kind of materialistic. It could be, not every New Year's resolution has to be that you want to lose 10 pounds and you want to hit the gym. You really want to focus on, I have a feeling for Capricorns, your finances are the most important thing to you. Some Capricorns, you're very grounded and you really want to rely on influence and getting connected with the earth and not really being materialistic at all. However, it's time to do that because there is so much planetary support with the personal planets, not to mention the sun, the God himself, in this second house, that I really think that your focus is drawn to that and they want you to set your intentions in that sector. Now, the 21st, Mercury is retrograding at 17 degrees Aquarius through the 11th of February in the second house. Doesn't mean it's going to stop your money. It does mean you don't want to come out of pocket in that 3-week period as much or sign anything regarding money, contracts for vehicles, residence, new homes. You don't want to just make your signature stamped in a retrograde, because that is like a series of do-overs and it's just a pain in the ass. So you don't want to deal with signatures in those 3 weeks. This is the first retrograde of the year. We have 3 a year for 3 weeks at a time. That's 63 days out of 365 days that we have a retrograde. The first one to me is never as harsh as the third one is. The third one almost is a combination of the first 2 retrogrades. So this one won't be as dramatic, but in the second house, it means watch where your money's going. It's time to review and revise in a retrograde. Time to reanalyze, refigure, and rebudget. So it's actually appropriate. You don't want to spend too much, but you'll have access to do that and you'll be gaining money in January. There's something very strongly increasing the finances. Now, Venus is making a second transit on the 27th, my apologies. So the first one is on the 3rd. She moves into Pisces on the 27th. This is the third house of communications again. Crazy. She's going to be conjunct Mars when she gets there. Venus, women, Mars, men, both in the third house of communications. For those of you Capricorns, online dating, this is a really good time to get the flow going. However, keep in mind you do have a retrograde. Maybe you might have a few missed emails, a few missed text messages, however you're communicating. It's still positive though. Venus and Mars conjunct in a sector. You have both the balance of the masculine and feminine working with you. So third house is also siblings, and like I said earlier, local neighborhoods, local travel, and influence of information coming through. You're very busy with what information you're receiving in January, Capricorn. So you want to really write things down and keep either journal or computer program that gets your dates, your calendar aligned. Something's very important regarding the information coming in. I want to get to the cards and see what they have to say for January 2015. And also, if you'd like a personal reading with me, I'm at audreyallison.com and Audrey Allison Astrology and Tarot on Facebook. Capricorn. Okay. Like I said, communications, 10 of Cups, this is the internet. This is an advanced tarot deck. It's alchemical. It's a little more updated to our current year and technologies. The 10 of Cups in an old tarot deck, like a Rider-Waite or a Connolly deck, is usually a very happy marriage, or you're connecting with family and siblings around you. There's usually a picture of 10 cups over a rainbow, and there's a family, that's old school tarot, which is amazing. It's what we get our premise from, but this is an updated. 10 of Cups here is more internet, computers, technologies, communications coming in. And like I said, your third house, you're receiving so much information in the month of January, Cap, that you really need to keep track of all the information that's coming in. It's up to you. You can't just rely on this. It's time for you to put a pen and write things down, get a calendar, make a chart, get a grid, do it. Second card. 5 of Wands. This is creative energy. The burning hand. Artists, writers, people fighting or working with their hands. Making a living through passion of the hands. Drawing, painting, construction, building. I'll do a summation in a minute. This is you, Cap. You're the mountain goat. You're up there. That's your animal. That's your astrological animal. But the 9 of Cups is the wish card. This is it. You are looking down. You've accomplished something. The wish card is giving you what you want, your goal, your desire. What are you passionate about? What are you trying to manifest and create through you? You're looking down and saying, oh, wow, I'm getting somewhere. You could feel relief in the month of January by putting an effort in what it is you're passionate about. Last card. Wow, I drew this earlier, but the King of Swords, your clear thinking. Swords cards are the air cards, the air signs, communication, Gemini, they rule communications. Aquarius, Libra, but the King of Swords is the intellect, it's the mind, it's clear thought. You might not have a lot of trouble in this retrograde. I'm not feeling it's going to influence you as much as it will some other signs, particularly Gemini and Virgo. However, who you're meeting, your intuition and your thought of them is absolutely spot on. You're not making a lot of mistakes when it comes to targeting the right groups or demographic for a business or promotion or advertisement for more clients. For those of you who own your own business, you have accomplished something very huge. You should be proud of yourself. Take a minute to reflect and look down on what you have achieved. You need to take a moment to praise yourself because you might not feel like it because Saturn, your ruling planet, is a little bit restrictive in your 12th house of thought and deep thinking, but you have accomplished something, so you have to take a minute to actually say, congratulations, You need reward. You also need to know that not everything happens in 5 minutes. You've got Pluto with you, so it's very intense, but you're getting there. These are great cards for you, Cappy. Have a beautiful holiday and Happy New Year. I'll see you later. Have a sweet day.